The coffee cup trembled in Marcus Reyes's hand the moment he saw her walk into the diner alone, because the last time he'd seen that face, it belonged to a photograph pinned above a hospital bed 3 years ago, the woman his daughter used to call her Angel with no name. Marcus had raised his daughter, Ren, by himself since she was 4, working double shifts at a auto shop just to keep the lights on and her insulin stocked. Type 1 diabetes had drained every dollar he earned and then some, and there were nights he sat at the kitchen table doing math that never worked out, staring at bills that outnumbered his paychecks. He never told Ren how close they came to losing everything. He just kept smiling, kept fixing cars with oil-stained hands, kept promising her that tomorrow would be easier. What he didn't know was that for 3 years, an anonymous donor had been quietly paying off Ren's medical bills. A wire transfer here, a scholarship fund there, always untraceable, always arriving exactly when the walls were closing in. Marcus assumed it was some charity program. He never imagined it was one woman, watching from a distance, unable to look away. Now, on an ordinary Tuesday afternoon, that woman stood in the doorway of the small diner where Marcus was grabbing a quick lunch during his break, and everything in her chest tightened. She recognized him instantly. She'd seen his photo once, years ago, attached to a hospital fundraising file she was never supposed to see. She remembered his tired eyes in that picture, the way he held his little girl's hand like letting go wasn't an option. If this story about quiet kindness and second chances is already touching something in you, hit like, drop a comment telling me where you're watching from, share it with someone who believes people can still surprise us, and subscribe to Hope and Wisdom for more stories like this one. Her name was Clara Whitfield, and very few people in the city knew her the way the tabloids did, as the reclusive heiress who'd inherited her father's empire and quietly funneled millions into causes no one ever heard about. She didn't do press conferences. She didn't want her name on plaques. After losing her younger brother to a rare illness their family couldn't afford to treat in time, she made a private vow: no child would die because their parent couldn't pay. She built an entire secret foundation around that promise, and Ren Reyes had been one of the very first children it saved. Clara had followed Ren's case from afar for years, checking in through discreet reports, feeling something warm and aching every time she read that the little girl was stable, growing, thriving. She told herself it was simply her job, her mission. But somewhere along the way, it became personal. She found herself wondering about the father who worked himself to exhaustion, who never once asked for recognition, who just showed up every single day for his daughter. That Tuesday, she wasn't supposed to be in that neighborhood at all. Her car had broken down 2 blocks away, and instinct pulled her toward the nearest diner. When she stepped inside and saw him sitting alone at a corner booth, papers and receipts spread in front of him like a puzzle he couldn't solve, something in her simply couldn't walk past. She approached slowly, her heart hammering in a way it hadn't in years, and asked, quietly, almost shyly, "Can I sit with you?" Marcus looked up, surprised by the stranger's gentle voice, and something about her expression, open, searching, strangely emotional, made him nod before he even thought to question it. "Sure," he said, sliding his papers aside. "Not much company today, but you're welcome to it." They talked. At first it was small things: the weather, the diner's terrible coffee, the ordinary rhythms of a Tuesday afternoon. But slowly, carefully, Clara asked about his daughter, and Marcus's entire face changed. He spoke about Ren the way only a father who has fought for his child's life could speak, with exhaustion braided into pride, with love sharpened by years of fear. He mentioned, almost offhandedly, how grateful he was to some anonymous donor who had saved them more times than he could count, how he prayed every night that whoever it was somehow knew what their kindness meant. Clara's eyes filled before she could stop them. She looked down at her hands, and for a moment she considered staying silent forever, letting the secret remain buried where it was safe. But sitting across from this man who had given everything to his daughter and asked for nothing in return, she felt the weight of her silence differently than she ever had before. "Marcus," she said softly, her voice shaking, "I need to tell you something, and I need you to just listen." She told him everything: the foundation, the years of watching, the late nights reading updates about a little girl she'd never met but had grown to love from afar. She told him she wasn't sure why she walked into that diner today, except that some part of her needed to see, just once, the man behind the file. Marcus sat frozen, his mind struggling to catch up with his heart, tears he hadn't allowed himself in years slipping down his face. 3 years of silent gratitude suddenly had a name, a face, a woman sitting across from him who had quietly kept his daughter alive. If this moment moved something in you, I'd love for you to comment one word that describes how you're feeling right now, and share this story with someone who still believes in the quiet goodness of strangers. Before I finish, if you're new here, comment "Hope" to let me know you're part of this journey, because stories like this only keep going because of people like you. In the weeks that followed, Clara didn't disappear back into her guarded world. She visited Ren, who lit up meeting the woman she used to imagine as an angel. She and Marcus built something neither of them expected, not out of debt or obligation, but out of a friendship rooted in honesty, then slowly, tenderly, into something more. Marcus never stopped working hard, and Clara never stopped giving quietly, but now they carried it together, side by side, no longer strangers connected by secrecy, but two people who found each other because kindness, given without expectation, always finds its way home.